Hello and welcome to my channel once again. This tutorial I'm going to show you how to create sort of a sculpted claymation type of hair, as you can see right here. I've looked around for a while and tried to figure out how to do this and couldn't. Finally I came across this little thing on ZBrush, which is another 3D editing program, which showed a pretty cool feature. So I figured I'd make a little tutorial here and show you guys how to create some sculpted hair with relative ease. So anyways, I got my bald head here. I want to add some sculpted hair to it. Normally I'd just try to sculpt it out of a cube or something, and I never had good results, so I usually just went with particle hair or something like that. But with this new technique, you can make some pretty nice looking mesh sculpted hair. So here we go. First off, what you need to do is hit spacebar, add a curve. It's going to be a Bezier curve, Bezier curve. It's French. And now we're going to go right here in the edit menu. Make sure you have the editing buttons visible. Using 2.49B, by the way, Blender 2.49B, in case you don't recognize it. Anyways, let's keep going. Turn off front and back with your Bezier curve still selected. Turn on 3D. Go right here where it says bevel depth, and you're going to click that up a few times. Probably 0.6 probably be fine, and then change the bevel resolution to about 4, and that'll be fine probably. Now, if you hit Z on your keyboard, you can go into wireframe view, and right here, default resolution, you see 12. Let's bump that up to 20. Okay, now back into solid view. Hit 1 on your numpad to go into front view. And now tab into edit mode and make sure all of your points are selected. There's only 2 actually, since it's a curve. It's a nice vector curve type of thing. So to make sure both of these are selected, and you're going to shift D. It's going to duplicate it, and just drag your mouse up a little bit. Excuse me. Just a little bit, and now we're going to Alt S, scale it down some. Okay, looks like I have my proportional fall off turned on, so I need to turn that off. That's handy for when you're editing on meshes, but we're on curves right now, so we don't need it. Okay, so Alt S scales it down some, or makes it skinnier. Shift D duplicates. Just keep doing this until you have a few different pieces here of different sizes, varying size. Shift D. Oops. Hit Alt Z on accident. It needs to be Alt S. There we go. Shift D. Alt S. Shift D. Alt S. Shift D. Excuse me. We're kind of making just sort of a wig thing here to go over the top of his head. We'll rearrange it here in a moment, but let's select this original one and make it a little skinnier. Move it up. And you know what? To save time, let's just select all of them. Just hit B on your keyboard and click and drag over it. Selects all of them. Excuse my throat's a little gurgly tonight. Okay, so we got them all selected. Shift D. Duplicate all of those and hit Z on your numpad, and it'll move them directly on the Z axis. You don't have to worry about them going off skew or something like that if you messed up dragging your mouse. Okay, that's probably good enough. So now let's go back into edit mode, select everything, hit A on your keyboard, and just drag them down to where they're centered up on that little pink dot right there. That's the center of your model, of the thing you're working on right now. Usually it's a mesh, but like I said, these are curves. So it's the center of the model that you have in your edit menu. Tab back out, and now hit R on your keyboard, and we're going to hit 90 on the numpad, and excuse me, good lord, hit Y also on your keyboard, and so it rotates at 90 degrees on the Y axis, as you can see. Hit enter, the big enter button, not the little one on the numpad. Okay, let's go to side view, 3 on your numpad, and let's drag this up and rotate it. Just hit R and rotate it around and kind of get it lined up with the top of his head here. Okay, now let's go to front view. Just hit 1 on your numpad and click on the blue arrow and just drag it over until it's pretty well centered over his head. Okay, so now let's go back to side view, pop back into edit view one more time. Let's grab this point here and let's okay, if you try to rotate it, it's not going to work. Let's see if we grab all of these and rotate them. Now, there you go. And let's drag this down to where it's going to be at the base of his head. About right there. Now you can see it's obviously going all the way through his head, which we don't want. Fix that up just a little bit. So let's grab these guys and all of these guys, W, subdivide. And it's going to put another point right there in the middle. And just grab that. So grab all of that with the handlebars as well. Just grab it out to where it comes over his head. So. Okay. I know it looks like a mohawk or something right now, but that's just fine. We're going to fix that as soon as we start working on it. Okay, back in the front view, or it doesn't matter, just any view, just rotate around. Now is where we change this, all these curves into a mesh. So just select it and hit spacebar, object, convert object type, and we're going to convert it to a mesh. So now, if you go into edit mode, you'll see all those vertices where it's not a curve anymore, it's a mesh. And now's where the magic happens. Go into the sculpt mode. Grab your sculpt, make the size a little bigger, and just start clicking on the mesh and dragging it until it starts taking the shape that you want it to. If it goes through the head, just grab that section and pull it back out like I'm doing right there. Okay. Just kind of drag it down until it's... You can experiment with all different types of hairstyles, but I'm just kind of doing just a swept back mop of hair on this one, so you can kind of get a general idea of how to use this technique. The same thing on this side. Pull it back up. So I've noticed this style used in a few of these more later movies, in particular the Clone Wars, Star Wars that they put out a couple of years ago. It all had that carved from wood look, which the movie itself, well, I honestly didn't care for it, in my personal opinion, but don't take my word for it. Movie itself I didn't really care for, but the style I liked. Didn't really like the animation that they did either, but hey, they're the ones making millions, not me, so they can do however they want, I guess. Okay, so we got the basic mop of hair covering his head. Kind of keep playing with it until it's kind of lined up the way you want. Okay, and now you can see, oops, we can see the ends of the little tubes that we made. So we need to fix that. So let's try to go into side view. Or don't try, just go ahead and do it. And just kind of rotate around. And just kind of grab these ends. You know, one thing that we can do to help, go right here in your sculpt view and go to pinch. And just kind of run it along the edges. Just click and drag. And you can see it shrinking those edges down. So that'll be a little easier to work with. Okay, so now go ahead and grab that grab tool again. And just grab those ends and just pull them through the head mesh. Just pull them through there so they kind of look like they're coming out of it. You can see it's really screwing up along the forehead there, but we'll fix that here in a second. Just got to get the hair coming out of the head first instead of laying on top of it. Okay, so now we just grab a little higher up on there, start dragging it forward until it fits kind of the hairline shape that we're looking for. Say you want him to have a part, a little bit bigger of a part on one side. Just grab some of these little tube things and just kind of start bunching them together. Kind of create some definition there. Say he has a widow's peak or something like that right there. Okay, now we got the same problem at the back as we had at the front, where you can see the ends of the tubes. I call them tubes, I guess they're just curves, Bezier curves, but we'll just do the same thing we did on the forehead there. Just pinch them down. And if, say he has long hair that's going to kind of whip out or something like that, or curls, or maybe you're going to do a woman model, she's going to have long curly hair where it can't go into the head. Well, just use your pinch tool until it's pretty well invisible. And there you go. Now just grab it and move it around. Excuse me. You know what, let's kind of do this. Let's kind of make it come out, kind of whip out. Got some curly hair going on there. Okay, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? Got that nice claymation kind of look to it. But you know what? Let's say, hey, he's got a couple of loose cannons, sprigs of hair. They're kind of coming out. They're not falling in line with the rest of it. So let's do the same thing. Add a curve and do the same thing. We got to turn on the 3D first and bump the depth up some and the resolution, and go into edit mode, Shift D, do this exact same thing we did earlier, maybe not quite so many this time. Oops, there we go. Okay, and now same deal here. Let's rotate it to 90 degrees on the y-axis. And that's just for visibility, rotating it like that. But let's go ahead and grab it. Actually, let's go into edit mode, select everything, move it to it until it's lined up on that pink dot. Let's go ahead and put it on the end this time. There we go. And you know what? Let's go ahead and grab all those and scale them down. Just hit S on your keyboard. Just scale them down to a point. Actually, what you can do is hit S and then hit 0 on your numpad, and it'll scale them exactly all to a 0 point. Then you can just Alt S, scale them down, make them skinnier. So there you go. Of course, now they're kind of separated out. So you know what? Maybe we shouldn't make them quite so skinny. Alt S back up until they are back together. Let's go ahead and grab the end down here. Alt S, scale that back up. Okay, now let's move that up here. Maybe I put them on the wrong end. Go ahead and edit. Go into edit mode. Grab them all. G. Hit G on your keyboard and then Z, so it moves it directly up on the Z axis. And just line them up, the bottom of it with the pink dot there. So now we can grab that, kind of put it where we want and rotate it like so. If you hit Alt Control R, it'll bring up your rotate gizmo thing there. You can just click on the edges there and rotate it however you see fit. If your little transform gizmo doesn't look exactly like mine, could be because you might have global turned on like that. You can just turn it to either normal or local. They're relatively the same thing. It's just the local object and the object's normal direction. So, okay, so let's create kind of some horns per se. or one horn anyway, then we'll make a duplicate of this curve object here so we can use it on the other side too. Let's just put it over there for now. And you know what? Yeah, just put it over there, out of the way. Now on this guy, go ahead and spacebar, object, convert object typed to mesh, and same deal. Grab your sculpt mode, grab your grab tool, and just go ahead and start moving it around until you can kind of get the way you're wanting. The further you back out, the more you can grab at once. If you get in close, it grabs smaller bits. So and you can kind of just give him that tousled hair look. Okay, back into object mode. Looking pretty nice. Go ahead and grab this one over here that we made, and let's do the same thing on the other side. Actually, you know what? Let's just put it out of the same area. The same, because he's got that part in his hair right there. Why not have these coming out of the same spot? Okay. And now let's spacebar, convert object type to mesh, and sculpt mode, grab. And let's make this one, let's spread it out. Just keep grabbing the edges of it until it gets a little wider. There we go. And just grab this. Move it around. Just till you get how you think it should look. Kind of flipped up. Maybe we'll kind of flick this one coming over the top of his head some. And if something happens and you get a piece of it too thin, you've been pushing, pulling, kind of like I got going in right here. Looks really thin. We can just grab the inflate. Oops, excuse me. I right-clicked on accident and brought that little pop-up menu. Just grab the inflate and just click in there, and it'll make it a little fatter. So, okay, now grab that grab tool again, and let's start trying to smooth this down some. Kind of getting really out of proportion there, isn't it? That's okay. We'll add a subdivision surface, Subsurf as it's called, and it'll smooth everything out. Okay. Looking a little wacky, but you get the basic idea. Let's pop back into object mode. And tell you what, let's grab both of these little bangs protrusions here, if I can. Object mode, right? Grab the other one. It's not letting me. Huh, it's not letting me grab that for some reason. There we go. Okay. You don't want to grab the hair, the full head hair yet. Grab this model and then grab, undo, grab that one. There we go. Oh, it's not letting me grab it for some reason. Okay, and then grab that one last, the main hair. Now hit Shift, let's see, Control J, I believe? Yes, Control J. A little pop-up says Join Selected Meshes. You're going to hit OK. Now it's joined them all together. Now we'll add a modifier called Subsurf. New versions of Blender, it's going to be called Subdivision Surface. It's going to have its full name there. So now I kind of put a smooth on there. You can change the levels if you like. Don't go up too high because it'll really bog your machine down. 2 is about the max you should really go. And that's really for rendering. If you just want to look at it, 1's usually pretty good. Okay, so we got the sculpt done. Now let's add a material to it. Let's go to your Materials tab, Add New, and click on the texture buttons. And you know what? That's not necessary. Just back out of there. Go back to your material. Change the color. Let's give him sort of a brownish, dark brown, grayish color. And let's change the specular level way down. and then the hardness way down as well. Kind of got a dull sheen to it right here. Okay, so we're pretty well set. Let's pop into the camera view. I've put those on another layer right there, and I already have some lights set up, as you can see. I got the key light, which is the main light, lighting the front of his face, and then what's called a fill light, lighting the darker side, but not quite as bright as the main light, and then a backlight that's kind of light up the, over his shoulders and things. If he had shoulders, that's what it would light up. Okay, 0 to see your camera view, and let's kind of rotate it around. I have it targeted or tracking an empty, as you can see right here, so I can kind of control what it's looking at. So let's move over so we can see the hair a little better, and just hit F12, and it's going to render it out to a nice sculpted look. So that's basically how you do that. Piece of cake. Pretty nice little feature, and I've posted the link to the ZBrush tutorial, or it wasn't really a tutorial, it's kind of just a how-to thing. So anyways, so that's how you do that. I hope you enjoyed yourself while watching, and take care. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.